We're going on to lesson 2. And of course, in your manual, you'll always find for every lesson the connection piece map, and they'll show you the new pieces that need to be added for your lesson. So it's important that before each lesson you check to make sure, do I have the actual pieces as outlined by the map that you were given. The other part that is for you is the sound check, and they'll give you a key word so that you know that you can pronounce the words correctly so that you're giving the students the correct information. So that is for you. And then of course the lesson plan overview, the 2-page review, outlines the entire lesson. It has all of the chains that are required for the tracking of whether it's the review or the new concept. So that is actually all you really need to have, but you have the one that's fully detailed and fleshed out in your book as well. Maria, what we're going to do first is review the reading sounds. So I am going to point and I want you to say what they say, what each letter will tell us. Okay, so first one.
B, t, d, k, g, k. G.
Excellent.
Mm.
And?
Mm.
And?
Z, z.
And
J.
J. Try the vowels.
E,
E.
E, A, A, E, E, A.
Excellent. So now we've done the sounds review. Now we want to do syllables review. So again, what we're going to do is pull out syllables. What sound is this?
A.
Okay, if that says at, what does this say?
At, fat.
Good. If that says fat, what does this say?
At, that.
Excellent. If that says that, what does this say?
At, sat.
Excellent. That says sat, taking out the ah, putting in
It, sit.
excellent. That says sit. What does this say? Putting in
It, pit.
excellent. Take out the I, putting in
Up, at, pot.
excellent. And go through the entire chain for the syllable review. And continuing with the review section, now we're going to review spelling, first with sounds and then with syllables as well. So, Maria, I'm going to say a sound and I want you to point to the letter, right? I.
I,
Another one. I. Say it again.
I,
Excellent. Ah.
a,
Ah. Eh.
e,
Aw.
a,
Ah.
a.
Good, and we'll try some consonants. P. Good. B. T. D.
D.
K. What else says k? What else can say k? Oh, very good. G. Excellent. Something else say g? Very good. Excellent. Z. S. Z. S. Z. Another one. Z. Good. Sh. Excellent. J. Excellent. Now we're going to go into spelling syllables. Okay, so I'm going to start you off. What does this say? Oops, sorry.
Ash.
That says ash, make it say cash.
Ash. Cash.
Good. That says cash, make it say sash.
Ash.
Excellent. That says sash, make it say sat. What am I putting in? Excellent.
Set. At. Set.
Good. If that says sat, make it say sit. Take out the ah. Put in.
I.
Now what does it say?
It.
Faster?
Sit.
Excellent. If that says sit, make it say pit. Taking out the
It. Pit.
Okay, we're going on with the new concept for lesson 2. And again, of course, we're looking at consonants because all the letters are broken into consonant and vowels, and we have our vowels. So we're looking at some new letters. You'll notice these ones are grouped together, and they're grouped together because they're all letters that are formed by having your tongue lift, called tongue lifters. So this one says O, O,
Her.
Okay. These ones are grouped together because they're the whispery sound, or a bit breathy, kind of sounds like breathing. This one is actually just a shape of your mouth. And this one is a bit airier. So, down here we have our nasal letters where the sound is actually pushed through your nose. Good. Here we have consonant Y. We've had vowel Y before, which sounds like an I when we say it. Here we have consonant which says Y, as in yellow. Y. QU says Q, like queen, Q, it's not voiced. And X. Notice the cautionary sign, so it can say X as in box. It can say Z as in Xerox, and Gz as in exam. Gz. Like, almost like legs, eggs, exam, exam. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do some reading. So we'll be doing reading of individual letters and reading of syllables. So come on up. And for reading, remember when I point to the sounds, I want you to tell me or read me the sound that they make.
Who. Her. Her.
Good. Good.
Yeah. What?
Excellent. Okay. Now let's build some syllables. All right. What's this one say?
Her. Her. Ring. Ring.
Rang.
Ring.
Rang. Okay, if that says rang, what does this say?
Sing. Sing.
Excellent. That says sang. Taking out the ah. What does this say?
Sing. Sing.
Sound about s. Eh. Sing.
Sing.
Now, of course, if your students are fairly advanced and they read it fluently, that's fine. But especially beginning ones, you want them to still break the sounds down. If that says sing, how can we make it say? What does this make it say?
Six.
Six. Excellent. And we would continue on with that chain. And then when we're ready to start a new chain, we begin with the letters. Okay, now, Maria, we're going to do spelling. First, we'll start with sounds and then small words or syllables. So I'm going to let you spell out the sounds. All right, O.
O.
Er.
Her.
Another one?
Her.
Excellent.
Hmm.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. X. What about gz? Z. Okay, let's try another one. Let's go. O. Good, good. That's a tricky one, the isn't it? All right, now let's build some syllables. And we'll just pull down a word here. What's this one say? Okay, what's that say for me? Okay, if that says jog, I want you to spell bog. Okay.
Good.
Say the word.
Bog.
Good. If that says bog, make it say log.
Good. Log.
Good. If that says log, make it say lag. Taking out the aw. Putting in an
Good.
lag, like to lag behind. Excellent. And in your instructor's manual, you'll notice that they start a brand new chain. So in that case, you'll have to have parked your old letters and bring out the new ones. So what does this say?
Wrap.
Like to wrap a present. Okay, if that
Wrap.
says wrap, what does this say?
Wrap.
To suffer the wrath of someone's anger. If that says wrath, what does this say?
Wrath.
Wrath. And again, we would continue this to the end of the chain and begin the third and final one in your lesson plan. After you've completed the new concept tracking, then of course you go back to the student workbook where you're going to do the word sort just like you did for lesson 1. You're going to do the spelling, including sentences with context and having the student verbalize the sounds back. At this point, you can insert your sight words using the flashcards or reading from the word list. You can do your contractions and homonyms. And of course, contractions and homonyms can be optional depending on your students. Once you've done your contractions, you can then go back to your book and continue on with the rest of the seat work, just as you did for lesson 1. Let's take a look then at what are contractions and how you might want to introduce those to your students. It's important to tell them that sometimes, especially with spoken language, we shorten our language. So we don't always say, I cannot come today. We say, I can't do that. So what is a contraction? It's a short form. We can say, I cannot or I can't. And what happens here is the apostrophe gets to stand for the missing O. Another example would be are not. We are not going to do that. We aren't going to do that. So again, the apostrophe takes the place of the O, the shortened form. And there are lists of contractions in your book that you can teach as you go. The other optional activity would be homonyms. And of course, that's explained in your lesson, that a homonym are words that sound the same but are spelled differently and have different meanings. An example, the first one in your book, would be won, like we won the prize, or one of you can come. And these are words that have to be memorized by the students, and they can be memorized for context and spelling. Now, it's very important that you spend at least 10 to 30 minutes on reading, because again, that's where the student gets to practice all of the things that they've been learning. And you all have your dibbles materials, which are your graded materials, and you pick out the level which would be appropriate for your student. And there's a range of activities that you can use with the materials, so they can be used in more than one way. One of the things that often people do is they simply have the child track under the reading with their finger or pencil and read out loud while you might identify errors that they might have. So, Maria, would you like to start this passage for me, please?
My uncle, my dad, and my brother and I built a giant sand castle at the beach. First, we picked a spot far from the big waves. Then we got out buckets and shovels. We drew a line to show where it would be. It was going to be big.
Excellent. Another activity that we can do is to have students echo our reading. This would be for a student who might be a bit weaker and we want to support them more. My uncle, my dad, and my brother and I built a giant sand castle at the beach. Your turn.
My uncle, my dad, and my brother and I built a giant sand castle at the beach.
And what we find here is that the students start to imitate your phrasing and your intonation and the different accents and punchlines that you give the reading, which makes it sound more natural, and it'll give them a lot of pleasure because it'll start to sound more like real reading.